Finally, the Premier League is back. Oh my God. Welcome back, everyone. This is Oscar Moneyball bringing you your favorite content. We use my match simulator to predict the Premier League matches for this weekend. We have a lot of matches to go through, so this could get a little long, but stick with me. Please stick with me. Hopefully you guys like this content. Let's move on forward to the good things, the good stuff, the fun stuff. Let's make sure we transition over. Perfect. Awesome. I'd hate to record this and go through this whole video without it looking right, so that'd be frustrating. Alright, match week 30, season 23-24. Super excited. We are going to be seeing one of the best matches in this weekend's slate on Sunday. Manchester City versus Arsenal. We'll get to that, and you could probably see the results there if you look down and zoom in or whatever, but we're going to go from the first one all the way to the end, one by one, as we always do. Give my takes, give my opinions. Not really opinions, but using these facts that are provided by my match simulator. I'm going to be using what I see in the actual games and using my tool, which is my simulator, and sort of seeing where this game will go, if my simulator is going to be right or wrong. But let's just have fun with it, right? This is all what it's about. Thank you guys for watching. This is the first game that we have this weekend. We have Newcastle United versus West Ham. As I mentioned in a lot of my videos, West Ham is a roller coaster. They can be hit or miss. However, they're very entertaining team to watch. They allow the opponents to play their strategy. West Ham has their own strategy. What I care, this game is going to be between two teams that just play with their heart. They have so much passion. All of their players from West Ham and Newcastle play with so much dedication. They go hard in every play. It's going to be a very, very tough game for those players. It'll be a game where let's see who has the best midfield, best team in transition. Could see a lot of counters. We'll see how this game goes, but it'll be a very entertaining game. As we see here, the expected goals for this match for Newcastle is at 2.7 versus 1.3 for West Ham. We could see some goals there, absolutely. As I mentioned previously, right now, it's going to be a very fought game, and I'm sure whichever team scores the first goal is just going to open up the game completely, because the opponent's going to want to tie the match. Then someone's going to try to win there. So this is a game that I see going over 2.5 goals personally between the two styles. The win probability for Newcastle is at 61% versus 17%. Over 0.5 is 87% for Newcastle, 69% for West Ham. Over 1.5, I show here 69% for Newcastle and 36% for West Ham. Moving on to the next match, we see here we have Bournemouth versus Everton. Everton is a favorite team of mine because it's a team I enjoy watching. They play with a lot of passion, and they have this chip on their shoulder, right? They keep getting points reduced from them, and it takes away a lot of that work that they're putting in. And I'm sure every time they go out to play, they are trying to get the most out of every situation, out of every game that they can, scraping by. So Bournemouth is a team that has been surprising, at least to me. They are regularly scoring goals, and they are doing it versus tough teams, teams in the middle of the table, and teams on the bottom of the table. They are walking away with points in almost every match, whether it's 1 or 3. They're just moving forward. Expected goals for this match is really even. It's 1.2 versus 1.2. The win probability between both of these teams is 38% for Bournemouth, 34% for Everton. The over 0.5 here is at 70% versus 68%. Over 1.5 we show here at 35% versus 32%. I don't have much to say about this game. I'm not really going to be watching it, but with it being so even, I wouldn't pick something there. Maybe that's actually, it'll give you better lines in the better betting odds, better straight lines. That's what I meant to say, but that's not what this video is about. We're here to show more about our match predictions. Chelsea versus Burnley is the next match. I expect Chelsea to take this game. I really do. Just even before seeing these results, I just knew. Burnley has not been playing so well. Sometimes they do all right. They're able to fight, but they're not at home. They tend to do a little bit better at home. Chelsea at home tend to do really good. They actually at home consistently average over 1.5 goals, so I expected this. We see here the expected goals for this game are in favor for Chelsea, 2.2 goals versus 0.9 for Burnley. The win probability 65% versus 34%. It's soccer, anything could happen, especially after an international break. You never know how these teams are going to come out. Now, these are teams that are not competing, I believe, in European competition, so just straight even match for these teams, and I'm sure they're going to go out with their best. The over 0.5 is in favor for Chelsea's with 86% versus 56% for Burnley. The over 1.5 is at 62% versus 21%. Next match, Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. Wow, this is going to be a good game. I believe so. Nottingham Forest at home, they're pretty solid defensively. Crystal Palace is a team that defensively is very well organized. They are starting to kind of pick up momentum, and by them I mean Crystal Palace. They're starting to score a little bit more goals than they traditionally have been scoring, at least from the first half of the season. They seem to have a lot of their players in form now. We have Eze, we have Olise. They're a constant threat, but just as Crystal Palace has their weapons, Nottingham Forest has their fans. Good soccer. They invested a lot of money into this team, and I believe they're going to do their best, especially to keep fighting. They had good performances versus Manchester United recently. They have been playing really. They're really good at home. So this is a hard game for me to kind of pick a side, but we see here that the expected goals is in favor for Nottingham Forest at 1.4 versus 1.0 for Crystal Palace. Win probability is at 45% versus 27%. Over 0.5 goals, 74% for Nottingham Forest, 62% for Crystal Palace. Over 1.5, 39% for the home team, 25% for the away team. Moving on to the next match, Sheffield United versus Fulham. Fulham, they're an entertaining team to watch. They recently played against Tottenham. When I was inputting the data into the simulator, I noticed that Tottenham had a really high XG and they didn't score against Fulham. Although Fulham had a really good XG as well that justified their win. I believe that Tottenham should have received a little bit more than they did. However, Fulham has just been proven week in and week out that they are serious, that they are trying to come back and be a team that is known for playing good soccer. I mean, they were never a top tier team. By top tier, I mean, playing European competitions, but they're a very well-known team, very historic team in the EPL. So I think they want to go back to being in that position. They have really good roster. So here we have expected goals for Sheffield United at 1.2 versus 1.8 for Fulham. They are expecting to win here. The win probability is in favor of Fulham, with Sheffield having 24% and Fulham having 52%. The over 0.5 is at 67% versus 82% for the away team. The over 1.5 falls short here. 32% for Sheffield, and 53% for Fulham. Maybe we'll see an upset. I mean, Sheffield does have to fight. It is getting to the end of the season, and I'm sure Sheffield would love to take a point from this match if they can. Based off what I saw with Fulham, they did allow Tottenham to have a high XG and they didn't score. So I would possibly say Sheffield being at home, needing the points, needing to put some pressure, I believe Sheffield could score in this match. Will Fulham take it? Maybe it could end 1-1. You know, like I said, Sheffield is going to, if they can get a point, they're going to be happy. So 1-1. I just know that Sheffield will score. All right, I'm guessing that they will score. The next match is Tottenham versus Luton Town. Oh my God. Okay, so I talked about Fulham versus Tottenham, with Tottenham having a very high XG and not being able to score. Usually what that transcends to is that the next match, they like cover that spread of the deficit that they didn't score and then some. So I'm expecting a blowout. And that was before I even saw these projections. And I was like, oh yeah, Tottenham's just at home. Like, they're just going to destroy. And we can see that here. We can see here that the expected goals for Tottenham in this match is 2.9. Let me see if there's anything higher. It doesn't look like there's anything higher. So they have the highest expected goals for this weekend versus Luton Town. Luton Town has been really good. They have expected goals of 1.3. They're a team that is just really entertaining. Their home stadium, the way it is, the fan base, how they fight. You know, they've been playing at home versus all these tough teams and getting some positive results. They're not scared of playing their game. They are a very fun team to watch, and I don't expect them to put a break on what they've been doing. Maybe because they are, I'm sure they know, I'm sure that Tottenham and Luton Town have, you know, these types of simulators. So Luton Town should be expecting Tottenham to be all over them. And that being the case, they may build a strategy to neutralize Tottenham. But we'll see how that goes. Either way, I still think Tottenham will take it, whether it's 1-0, 2-0, even more. I'm expecting a high-scoring game here. We'll see how it plays out. Following match is Aston Villa at home versus Wolverhampton. Aston Villa, one of my favorite teams at the moment with Unai Emery. They're competing in the European Conference League, which is, to some people, not that important or shouldn't even be a competition, but just let these teams play. Let them enjoy European competition. It builds players that can, it develops players that can take on the bigger stages. It gets them ready to be feeling what it feels to play middle of the week, end of the week, middle of the week, end of the week consistently. It develops competitive players. It puts eyes on a lot of players that may not be seen. It allows us, the viewers, to watch teams that we don't traditionally see or that we don't have access to seeing due to television rights. Just don't hate on it, right? I mean, it's for us. That's why they made these things. Long story there, right? But Aston Villa, they did have an international break. They should be picking up some of the loose ends here and seeing where they've been falling short, because they have been disappointing these past couple of weeks. Disappointing, don't take that too hard. What I mean by that is that there's games where they are letting the opponent do more than they should. And I'm sure Unai Emery is not happy. I'm sure the team is not happy with their performances. So these international breaks allow them to breathe, and allow them to work and develop what they're going to be doing for the remaining month or two of the season. Expected goals for this match, we have Aston Villa 2.3 versus 1.3 for Wolverhampton. Win probability is in favor for Aston Villa, 56% versus 21% for Wolverhampton. Over 0.5 goals in this match, Aston Villa 87%, Wolverhampton 71%. Over 1.5 goals in this match is 64% for Aston Villa, 37% for Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I believe they're on a downhill trend. They were already a pretty not that good of a team, and the results that they were getting from like October to January were just surprising because it was not expected. They were playing really good soccer, and I called it out a couple weeks ago. Hey, this team has been outperforming what they should be doing. I do expect a little bit of a regression here, and they're kind of there. They're sort of playing how they are expected to play, or giving you those results that are expected of this team. Now, will Aston Villa win this game? Who knows? I'm not too sure how Ollie Watkins is feeling. I'm not too sure how the rest of the team is feeling. They have depth in their squad, but if one of those people in the front, especially like Ollie Watkins, is not available, you tend to see a little bit of less of an offensive strength there. I do think regardless, Aston Villa will win this game. They need it. They need to win. They need to keep climbing up. Unai Emery, I don't think will take a loss. I believe the last time Aston Villa and Wolverhampton played, or I believe the both team score is very popular in this match, especially because they go blow for blow. It's sort of like that Newcastle West Ham match that I'm talking about. It's just I see them going blow for blow. I could see an over 2.5 goals in this match. Hopefully it plays out in favor of Aston Villa. Next match, we have Brentford versus Manchester United. I love myself some Brentford games versus Manchester United. Count me in. Count me in to watch this game. Very unfortunate that they are expected to lose, or it should be an even game with them having less fortune to win the match. Brentford expected goals 1.6 versus 1.7 for Manchester United. Win probability is at 36% versus 40% for Manchester United. The over 0.5 goals in this match, 78% for Brentford, 80% for Manchester United, 47% at the over 1.5. Let me highlight it, sorry. 47% for the over 1.5 in favor of Brentford, and the match and Manchester United 23% for over 1.5. That is weird to me. So this right there doesn't make sense, right? How does it? Manchester United has the better expected goals over 1.5, but then in the over 1.5 on this row column, their probability is much lower than Brentford's. Maybe Brentford does have a little bit of an edge here, being at home. Brentford at home is a really strong. It's so cold here. It's a really they're a really strong team, and I'm sure that Thomas Frank is just gonna be on top of this game. You know, he knows how to play these types of games. They're able to do really well against Manchester United, but Manchester United also has been getting in good form, and they are actually fighting for European spots. Meanwhile, Brentford is just staying low mid-table, which is very unfortunate because they're a strong team. Moving on, I'm not going to put any results in this one. I'm just going to enjoy soccer for that one and let the game play out. Then we have Liverpool versus Brighton. This should be a really good game if Brighton is able to deliver the style that we know them for, and not the shitty Brighton that has been part of what we've been seeing this season. Sorry, just had to say that, because last season they were spectacular And I know it's because they're playing, European soccer, and they do have a lot of injuries. But I miss De Zerbi ball. I really do miss seeing, this very competitive team scoring goals, entertaining soccer. Not that they're not entertaining, they're just not as strong as they used to be. Liverpool at home over 1.5 always seems to be a trend that has been happening this season. I do believe they have the best home attacking strength based off of my stats. Expected goals is 2.8 versus 0.9. Win probability 69% versus 10%. Over 0.5 goals in this match 87% versus 57%. Over 1.5 goals for Liverpool 69% versus 23%. Easy. Liverpool's going to take this game. There's no question about it. I believe Brighton will try. I believe De Zerbi will have something. We'll probably use this game as a way to learn more about playing against tough teams and how to move his pieces. You'll probably be risking a little bit more. What I mean by risking is that he will probably try something different to try to contrast Liverpool, but at the same time give him a way to attack. Just knowing how managers would want to play this game. I'm sure De Zerbi knows that he's going to lose this match. But this is more for De Zerbi to gain some experience, create a thicker thin, and think of where he could go wrong or where he went wrong and develop something for when he does take a bigger role. Here we go. Manchester City versus Arsenal. Manchester City at home is expected to lose. Can you believe that? Yes, Arsenal does have the best attacking strength and defensive strength when they are away. This team, although I am a fan of both teams, and by fan I don't pick sides here. I just love good soccer, good football. Manchester City expected goals 0.9 versus Arsenal 1.2 goals. Very even match. The win probability not so even there, leaving a lot of margin for the draw. 28% for Manchester City, 43% for Arsenal. Over 0.5 goals in this match, 60% versus 70%. Over 1.5 goals in this match, 24% versus 35%. Now, in the beginning of the season, before the English Premier League started, we did see Manchester City versus Arsenal play that match where Cole Palmer scored a beautiful goal that I think it ended 1-1, went on to PKs, and I believe Arsenal may have won that game, if I remember correctly. That game was really boring. Really, really boring. Beginning of the season, right, we all know what happens. But last year, we also saw a Manchester City versus Arsenal game where they were going to play for first place, right? It was to see who was going to stay on the top, or if Man City was going to take Arsenal out of first place. And Manchester City just completely dominated, completely killed them. Now, Arsenal have learned from their mistakes, but I also don't think that they are a team with depth. And what I mean by depth is they play the same. It's two styles that are going to contrast against each other. I'm curious to see how Mikel Arteta has developed. I'm sure he's been waiting for this game, and both of these teams, fighting with Liverpool for that first place. We'll see how that goes. Manchester City, though, does have a tighter schedule with the team that they'll be playing in the Champions League and how they're going to end their season. I don't know what to say about this game, but I just know that you cannot count Manchester City off, especially with the the results from the simulation. I mean, I'm just being biased at this point, right? But we'll see how the game plays out. It's a sport, soccer. Anything could happen. A PK. It could be a boring game. It could be 0-0. It could be high scoring match. I think for us as fans, taking away the simulation, taking away styles and whatnot, I want this to be as high scoring of a match as possible. I want this to be 3-2, 2-2, 4-3. You know, I want them to go blow to blow to blow and make this the most entertaining game possible, where we're just like, what the hell did we just witness? I want to be talking about this game for so long. I want this to be a really entertaining game. It could be a 5-0 match, however it plays out. This game is gonna be great. I hope so. I really do hope so. I would put my money on this game being one of the most entertaining matches in the season. This could be a Champions League final, you know. This could be a semi-final match. This is just top level soccer, so let's enjoy it for what it is. Make sure we transition over. Make sure that played out. That's it. Those are my results using my match simulator for the English Premier League. Thank you guys for watching these long videos. I did kind of want to cook up a little parlay for you guys based off these results. I had the tab open. However, I think I'm going to skip it. The video is getting pretty long. Maybe we can do that for the next time. But if I were to go a little summary here just to keep it fun, I'd say Newcastle to win, or Newcastle double chance. I'd go Chelsea to win straight line, or Chelsea over 1.5 goals. Chelsea double chance over 1.5 goals. That sticks out. Tottenham versus Luton Town over 2.5 goals total between both teams. Tottenham to win this match. Aston Villa versus Wolverhampton over 2.5 goals as well. Brentford versus Manchester United, I'd stay away. Liverpool to win straight on that game, and I'd just go hands off Manchester City versus Arsenal, as I'm a fan of both teams. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one, and I invite you guys to watch my other videos. I have videos where I'm predicting the Liga MX. Maybe you're not a fan of it, but I am. Eredivisie, which is a lower European league it's not in the top 5, but I personally really enjoy it. Starting to do videos for the MLS now that I've gathered enough data to be able to predict it. It's still early. Give it a couple weeks, but I am going to just make the content just for fun. And I invite you guys to watch it and continue to watch the Premier League videos. Enjoy your weekend. Hug your loved ones. Drink some water. Drink some beer. Have a coffee. Whatever. Have a good weekend. Let's go.